I want to talk for just a few minutes about another crisis that's going on quietly as we speak. This is the Indian Ocean, Madam President, as you well know. One of the most important parts of the world. Here's China. Here's India. China's trying to dominate all of these sea lanes for military reasons and for commercial reasons. Here in the middle of the Indian Ocean is a group of islands called the Chagos Islands. You may not have heard of them. I hadn't before I was alerted to this crisis. America has a military base in the Chagos Islands. Chagos Islands, there are about 60 islands, 40 to 60 islands. One of the islands is called Diego Garcia. And we built a military base here. And it is not just any military base. It is an extraordinarily important military base. Our military base is one of the few in the world where our military can reload submarines. Hugely important. Our military base on Diego Garcia in the Chagos Islands houses a number of Navy ships. Our military base there houses long-range bombers that we use to carry out missions around the world. Now we in the United Kingdom, I'll explain why the UK is involved in a moment, we have to work hard every day to police our military base, not just the base itself, but the land, or the water surrounding it, because China knows how important this military base is to the security of the world. China is constantly sending craft trying to spy on our military base there. And we and the United Kingdom, again, I will mention in a second, explain in a second, the United Kingdom's relevance, are constantly having to patrol and fight off the espionage of China. In fact, China has breached the security of American military bases over 100 times in the last few years. They're very aggressive. Now, why am I talking about this military base? Because President Biden and Vice President Harris, as we're all working here, trying like a bunch of ants in a sugar bowl, trying to wrap up our work for the year, President Biden and Vice President Harris are giving away this military base. They're giving it away. The Chagos Islands is a territory of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom gave America permission to build our military base here. Now, the Chagos Islands has a rich history. It has a relationship with another island in the Indian Ocean, Mauritius. And I mention that because to understand what's going on, you have to understand the relationship. Mauritius and the Chagos Islands used to be partners. The Chagos Islands were what is called a dependency of Mauritius. And Mauritius, many, many years ago, beginning in 1715, was a colony of France. And while Mauritius was a colony of France, Mauritius established a relationship with the Chagos Islands. And then, beginning in 1814, France said, look, we're going to cede Mauritius and now the Chagos Islands, where we have our military base, to the United Kingdom. And they did. Mauritius and the Chagos Islands, 250 years ago, they might have been close, but they're not today. They don't share the same culture. They don't speak the same language. They don't visit each other. In fact, many of the people from Chagos lived in the United Kingdom over here. But here's what President Biden is doing and Vice President Harris. They say we need to grant independence to the Chagos Islands, but not let the people of the Chagos Islands run their country. We need to give the Chagos Islands back to Mauritius. Why? I mean, no offense, but that's cell deep stupid. Why do Mauritius and the Chagos Islands don't have a relationship anymore, and we've got a military base here? I'll tell you why. The United Nations, and particularly the International Court of Justice, which has no jurisdiction over the United States of America and has no jurisdiction over the United Kingdom, which currently controls the Chagos Islands. They have scolded the United Kingdom. They said the United Kingdom is a colonizer. And the United Kingdom, the people of the United Kingdom are bad people. Now remember, this is coming from the United Nations. This is the same United Nations that has the following countries on its Human Rights Council: Somalia, Iraq, Venezuela, China. That's who thinks we ought to get rid of this military base. Okay, I mean, this is not some act of justice here. But in any event, the United Nations is saying, United Kingdom, you bad people, give the Chagos Islands back. But not let the Chagos Islands be free. They want to give the Chagos Islands back to Mauritius. And President Biden could stop it. And so could Vice President Harris. But they're for it. All in an effort to curry favor with the people at the United Nations, who walk around with their NPR tote bags and their organic broccoli and have great relationships with members of the media who they think write history. Why on God's green earth would we do that? Why? China, of course, is delighted. Why is China delighted? Now, the United Nations says, okay, well, we don't want to be too mean-spirited here. The America can keep its military base for 99 years, but you got to sign a lease, and we got to start paying Mauritius to stay there. China says, fine, that sounds good to us. Why? Because number one, China's already started currying favor with Mauritius. And number two, Mauritius will now be in charge of the security of the Chagos Islands and our military base and the waters surrounding it. China, Xi Jinping, he's as happy as a gopher in soft dirt. He'll be hacking the Mauritius security as soon as the trade is made. Now, President Trump, I hope you're listening to this. My good friend Senator Rubio, soon to be Secretary of State, I hope you're listening to what I'm talking about. What we're debating today is important. I don't mean to say that. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not going to bubble wrap it. If Senator Sanders' resolution passes, it will precipitate a foreign policy crisis. But this foreign policy crisis is being perpetrated or prosecuted right now, and it's another foreign policy crisis, and it's going on, all because President Biden, and Vice President Harris want to appease the United Nations in China. And President Trump, please, pretty please with sugar on top, pick up the phone and call the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and say, don't sign that treaty. Don't give away the Chagos Islands. Don't give away America's military base. Don't do it. If we object, they won't. If we don't say anything, they will. Madam Chair, I yield the floor.